the 8 a.m. podcast presented by Train the Teacher.
Okay, let's dive right in. You know that feeling, right, when you're trying to speak English, but your brain is still working in your native language, like Hindi or Marathi or Tamil.
Oh, absolutely. That internal translation step.
Yeah, you're thinking it, translating it word for word, and then poof, the moment's gone, you just miss the beat.
That lag. Yeah. It's incredibly common. I think it's the classic struggle for so many people learning English.
It really is. And, it makes you wonder, is it actually possible to, skip that step? Can you really train your brain to just think in English directly?
Well, that's exactly the question the source material we're looking at today tries to answer.
Perfect. So that's our mission for this deep dive then. Let's unpack what the sources say. Is it possible? And maybe more importantly, how can you start doing it?
Okay. So first off, the sources point out that this whole translation habit isn't really surprising. Think about how English is often taught. More like a school subject, right? Rules, grammar.
Right. Not like a tool for just living your daily life in.
Exactly. So you naturally think in your first language, and English kind of gets layered on top.
So you're building this bridge every single time you want to say something instead of just being on the other side already.
Precisely. It's not just slow, it's a different way of interacting with the language altogether.
Okay, so that's the problem. But what about the solution? Do the sources give us hope?
They really do. The answer seems to be a pretty clear yes. Thinking directly in English, it's achievable. For anyone, apparently.
Okay, yes. That's good to hear. But what does thinking directly actually, feel like? What does it mean day to day?
Well, fundamentally, it's about creating a direct link, a connection in your brain between, say, an object or an idea, maybe even an emotion, and the English word for it, without needing your native language as a go-between.
Ah, okay. So you see a book, and your brain just goes, book,
Yeah.
not kitab, then translate, then book.
Exactly that. That simple, immediate connection. That's the core of it.
Feels like that would need some serious mental rewiring, though. How do the sources suggest you even begin that process?
Yeah, it's definitely not an overnight thing. It's a process built on small, consistent actions. Daily stuff, the most basic starting point they mention. Simply using English for your immediate surroundings. Look around right now.
Okay.
Just mentally name things you see in English. Wall, desk, light. Just label your world.
Okay, that makes sense. Simple labeling, object to word, building that direct link. What comes after that?
From there, the sources suggest moving on to what you might call micro-thoughts.
Micro-thoughts.
Yeah, not like full, perfect sentences, just those quick internal reactions or observations, things like getting hungry or need coffee or maybe looks complicated. Little snippets of thought using English words you already know.
Ah, I see. So capturing those little fleeting thoughts, but in English, like starting a really simple internal chat with yourself.
Pretty much. And the sources do talk about actually talking to yourself. Yeah, that's a key technique.
Silently or?
Either. Silently in your head or even quietly out loud if you're alone. Just narrate what you're doing. Opening the laptop, checking email. What should I wear today? Simple stuff. It keeps English active for your own thoughts.
Right, right. Shifting from just labels to narrating your own actions and plans, that seems like a good step up. Anything else?
Well, there's another layer to it. It's about bringing English into your emotional life, too.
How so?
Don't just describe things. Try to feel things in English. If you're frustrated, think, this is annoying, happy, feeling good. Use English for your internal state. It stops it being just this external tool,
Yeah.
Makes it yours.
Okay, I get that. But I can already hear people thinking, but what if I make mistakes? What if I don't know the word? That fear, it must stop people cold.
Absolutely. And the sources are really, really clear on this. When you're thinking to yourself, mistakes just don't matter at all.
Right. No one's grading your thoughts.
Exactly. If you forget a word, use a simpler one you know. Or pause. Or just skip it and carry on thinking. The real goal here is building the habit of using English internally, not achieving grammatical perfection in your head. That fear is the biggest hurdle. Let it go.
Okay. So if we're wrapping this up, the main takeaway from the material is that thinking directly in English isn't some impossible dream.
Not at all. It's completely possible. But yeah, it takes conscious effort, practice. It's a skill you build up bit by bit, day by day.
Definitely not flipping a switch overnight. And that focus on micro thoughts and simple narration, it really highlights that you don't need flawless grammar to start.
Precisely. Just start using English for your own immediate, unfiltered thoughts. No judgment.
So for you listening, what does this all boil down to? Why bother putting in this effort?
Because getting rid of that translation step,
Yeah.
it fundamentally changes things. Communication becomes faster, smoother, much more natural. It helps English feel less like this external task and more like an intuitive part of how you just are.
And that leads perfectly to the final thought, the challenge, really, that the source material leaves us with for you today, right now, or maybe later today. Just commit to 5 minutes. 5 minutes of doing every internal activity in English.
Yeah, just 5 minutes. Label things you see. Catch those micro thoughts. Narrate what you're doing silently.
No pressure, no fear of mistakes. Just 5 minutes to kickstart that internal English process. That's your starting point.
Just 5 minutes. Give it a try.